This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, Finance Minister Grant Robertson delivers his first budget to the nation in Parliament. A $300,000 one-off grant ensures Stadium Southland keeps running smoothly. And we find out what people think of the unexpected 8% rise in rates from the Dunedin City Council. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. Finance Minister Grant Robertson delivered his first budget to the nation in Parliament this afternoon. The pre-budget build-up has seen the government downplaying people's expectations, saying that some sectors like healthcare and education have been underfunded for years.
Walking into Te Whare Parramatta, or the House of Parliament, Finance Minister Grant Robertson appeared well prepared to deliver his first budget to the nation. Speaking in the House today, the Finance Minister promised growing budget surpluses.
This budget delivers an operating surplus for 2017-18 of $3.1 billion, rising in 2018-19 to $3.7 billion, with surpluses reaching an estimated $7.3 billion by 2020.
The budget, or the Appropriation and Estimates Bill, sets the framework for what the country's government will spend taxpayers' money on and what it won't. Otago Daily Times business and political editor Dean McKenzie says there were a few surprises, but it looks like the Finance Minister has done well.
Treasury forecasts are notoriously difficult to meet, but looking at the numbers, Grant Robertson's going to produce a budget surplus of $3.7 billion compared with a forecast of $3.1 billion just back in December. It's all looking pretty good so far for Mr Robertson in his first budget.
McKenzie says the major winners were health and education.
And it includes a huge amount of increased spending for health, $3.2 billion. Also there's much more money going for education. $600 million on new classrooms, 1,500 new teachers, but it's the health spending that's going to gain the most attention.
He says the major healthcare announcement may mean debt relief for the Southern District Health Board.
More importantly for Dunedin, is it appears that the deficit of the Southern District Health Board will be wiped off, as the government's allowed plenty of money for that.
At the end of Robertson's speech, opposition leader Simon Bridges rose to denounce the budget, as is customary. The budget will be debated over the coming weeks in the House. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
Two men who did almost everything wrong were recovered by a search and rescue team in Queenstown last night. Acting Sergeant Terry Wood says police were called to assist a mountain biker at 5 p.m, concerned about his friend from whom he had become separated. Sergeant Wood believes the pair were part of a group of friends who hired mountain bikes and had gone to the 7-mile track on the way to Glenorchy. The pair separated and both were underdressed for the forecast cold weather that came in. One man phoned police when he rode into a cell phone coverage area. A one-off grant allocated to Stadium Southland will keep the facility running smoothly, according to Chairman Alan Dennis. The Invercargill City Council decided to grant the stadium $300,000 at a meeting on Tuesday. Sharon Rees reports.
Stadium Southland Chairman Alan Dennis breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing the stadium would be granted an extra $300,000. At a council meeting on Tuesday, a one-off grant was allocated to the facility.
There was a bit of doubt about the way things were going to go because there's so much coming at once with the council with regard to the museum and the art centre and so on, and there was a lot of discussion about that, and the recommendation from the staff was, that they didn't increase the funding, so there was a worry. But we did a little bit of lobbying in the background and put some good information in front of the councillors, and I think that made the difference in the end.
The Stadium Trust had asked Council to increase its annual grant by $300,000, but Council's preferred option for its long-term plan was to maintain the same level of funding. Dennis said the impacts of not receiving the grant could have had serious consequences for the facility.
Obviously the ones that would shock the public most, and a headline which would be, I think, pretty naughty would be stadium closes and weekends. Maybe lesser hours, maybe closing parts of it. None of that I wanted to face. There's not much point having a lovely stadium if you haven't got the means to maintain the quality of what you deliver.
The council's grant also came with a condition that they would work with the Stadium Trust to look at other funding options in the future. Dennis said while they have already tried many options, the board was always open to suggestions.
If we can maintain the state of funding that we've got, I think the stadium's future-proof for the next 8 or 10 years. So my first aim is to solidify what we've actually got, a bird in the hand. But obviously we're open to any other thoughts and suggestions. We'd be silly not to.
Council will soon elect a representative to join the Stadium Management Board to work on future funding options. Sharon Rees, The South Today.
The lineup for next year's Gibbston Valley Winery Summer Concert has been announced. Roger Hodgson from Supertramp, Tony Childs and Aussie duo of James Rain from Australian Cruel and Mark Seymour from Hunters and Collectors will be headlining the concert on January the 19th. The concert tour also has stops in Taupo and Whitianga and is the 9th to be held at the Gibbston Valley Winery. Tony Childs burst onto the music scene in the late 1980s with her top 10 hit, Stop Your Fussing. Hodgson is better known as one of the frontmen of English rock band Supertramp, which has had more than 60 million record sales thanks to hits such as Give a Little Bit and Take the Long Way Home. Dunedin City Council voted yesterday to increase residential rates by almost 8%. The unexpected rise comes after a series of last-minute funding boosts approved by the council. The South Today asked people on the street what they thought of the rates hike.
Robbie Burns sat impassive to the news that Dunedin's ratepayers will face a rise of almost 8% in their annual rates, this being the second highest jump in rates since 1989. Rates traditionally go towards paying for much of the city's ongoing infrastructure and amenities, but the upcoming rise is in response to a series of last-minute boosts to funding totalling over $700,000. Dunedin City has a self-imposed rates limit of 8%, and Councillor Lee Vandervis inquired at yesterday's deliberations if the limit had actually become a target.
Councillor Vandervis.
Is this the motion where we prove yet again that the proposed rates increase is not a target?
I assume that's a rhetorical question. Do you want to ask the next one?
Good day. Thank you. No, it's fine.
Thank you.
The rates increase will mean that a typical Dunedin homeowner will have to pay around an extra $150 a year. For a city used to rates rises of around 4%, the 7.84% rise comes as a bit of a shock to some. However, some of the people we interviewed on the street today recognised the hike as being the city's need to invest in the future.
Yeah, pretty extortionate, isn't it?
Very disgusting. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm all for it. If it helps the city to grow, then it's good. I think we need more growth, so it's good.
Probably it's not a good idea really rising up the rates. Yeah, especially for the people like first homeowner. Yeah, which is kind of like, can afford. So yeah, I don't think so. Raising the rates is not a good idea really.
I guess it all helps with keeping Dunedin good.
Seems rather high to me, and I'd be worried about people on lower incomes, how they're going to afford their houses, and I'm not too sure about where it's going either.
Sometimes progress needs to have money, isn't it? So it's one of the things you've got to pay.
I don't think that's too bad. I mean, as far as rates concerned, what bugs me more is that if elderly people have their home in a trust, they can't get a rates rebate because they're not listed as the owner, even though they're living there and paying. So, yeah, sorry, 8% doesn't bother me that much. I mean, I can afford it, but I'm sure there are plenty of people that can't. Yeah.
Some families will struggle, but I think Dunedin has to spend money to actually get us back in the 21st century.
Council Chief Executive Sue Bidrose says that other towns across New Zealand are looking at rates rises of between 3 and 15%. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
Still to come on the South today, the Australian women's hockey team arrive in Cromwell for the Tri-Nations Series to take on the Black Sticks in Japan, and we take a look at the increasingly popular combat sport of Jiu-Jitsu.
For all your news from the southern regions as it happens, go to our Facebook page. The South Today, connecting you with your community thanks to New Zealand On Air.
Why wait for seed to germinate? Why not do it the smart way? For instant results, call Ready Lawn today, or for more information, go to readylawn.co.nz. You're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer. You owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
It's on again, the Star Regent 24-hour book sale. Starts noon the 8th of June. Don't miss out.
At Action Engineering, the team make their mark as innovators in engineering because they don't just make things, they provide solutions. Call now on 477-1643 or go online to see the services they provide.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 15 years. New doors, replacement doors, repairs and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team at 553 Kaikoura Valley Road. Visit www.garrador.co.nz or call us on 488 5676.
Massive menswear sale on now. Oaks Campbell Menswear have brought out a top suppliers warehouse and factory shop. Nothing but bargains for you. Hurry in, South Dunedin store only.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Helping New Zealanders to do more. Talk to MTF today.
Dunedin's top football on Channel 39, Saturdays at 7, Sundays at 2 and Tuesdays at 3:30.
Welcome back. Those who help new migrants and refugees to settle in Dunedin will receive more funding. The Dunedin City Council voted to add $240,000 over the next 3 years to the planning and community budget to support community development for new migrants and refugees. The vote occurred during deliberations on the 10-year plan yesterday. Dunedin refugee advocates Alfalfa Harris and Malcolm McQueen have requested extra money for the council's community and planning budget to support the city's refugee support program. Cromwell is hosting the Tri-Nations Women's Hockey Series. The games will see New Zealand Black Sticks veered out against the national teams from Australia and Japan. The South Today met up with some of the opposition on the turf.
The National Australian Women's Hockey Team, the Hockeyroos, flew into Queenstown on Tuesday. They are here to compete against the New Zealand and Japanese national teams in the Tri-Nations Series being held in Cromwell over the next 10 days. Their first training session was yesterday afternoon, and defender Carrie McMahon said they were looking forward to the upcoming tournament.
So for us, this is great quality opposition that we get to play. You know, we've had Commonwealth Games recently and we came away with a silver medal, so to play quality opposition leading into a World Cup is really important, and that's why we're here to play some games against the Kiwis and against Japan with you know, hopes of preparation for us leading into our World Cup.
The Australian team are used to slightly warmer weather than what is on offer in the Central Lakes area at the moment.
It's great, we've been here for 24 hours, or been to a coffee shop which was good this morning, so hopefully get out and see a little bit more in the rest days coming up, but so far it's great. It's a little bit chillier than home, but so far it's a wonderful little town.
Hopefully the players will be sufficiently equipped to handle the forecast cold fronts over the next week.
Yeah, not too bad. We're well prepared, as you can see. We've got some gloves and some jackets, so it's really beautiful today, so hopefully the rain stays away and we should be good to go.
Most of the players at this tournament will meet up again at the Women's Hockey World Cup being held in London later this year. Central Otago News for the South Today.
Combat sport has been on the rise in recent years, from the advent of the Ultimate Fighting Championship to simply wanting to stay in shape. Space is filling up at New Zealand's only Gracie Hamita Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym. The South Today found out more.
Bringing together respect, honour and personal fitness, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is quickly taking off and becoming a mainstream sport. New Zealand Fight and Fitness Academy owner Ryan Henry says he is privileged to be teaching the original form of Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Here in Dunedin we're lucky enough to be under the direct tutelage of Master Hoyle Gracie. So his father created the sport, so the Jiu-Jitsu we teach here comes straight from the source, which is a pleasure to be able to teach that and know what I'm teaching is the correct stuff. Especially the self-defence aspect, we concentrate on a lot of self-defence.
Henry says Gracie Jiu-Jitsu started the Ultimate Fighting Championship, or UFC, to raise the profile of the sport worldwide.
Originally with the Gracie family, they started the UFC to actually promote Jiu-Jitsu and get Jiu-Jitsu out there on a global scale. So a lot of the competitors in UFC have done some form of Jiu-Jitsu.
The sport first hit TV screens with the likes of Royce Gracie and more recently Conor McGregor. Henry says although it doesn't demonstrate all the elements of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it does promote the sport.
It doesn't quite probably show what Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, especially the self-defence aspect of it, is all about, but definitely promotes it. Yeah, my philosophy is everyone that enters the mats must leave having had a good time, and normally they come back and before you know it they're addicted.
Otago University student Miles Cubitt has been training for more than a year and likens the sport to a game of human chess.
Yeah, the sport is super technical. Like, compare it to human chess, pretty much. It's always thinking about what's the next move, what does he think I'm going to do, how can I counter what he thinks I'm going to do. It's always like trying to get one step ahead.
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is only one type of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and there are many forms of the sport worldwide. Ben Bootsma, The South Today.
After the break on the South Today, the Abel Tasman shipwreck stubbornly remains embedded in a Greymouth beach as contractors abandon retrieval attempts again. And we have tomorrow's weather for you.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
the hard-to-find bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Not happy with this product demonstration, Ralphie. Oh, relax. It's all about balance. The balance between softness and strength. And my balance is perfect. So we won't fall? Of course not.
Hi, Ralphie.
Oh, hey, whoa. You fell for her. Yep, I fell for her. Cotton Softs. Softness and strength you can trust. I'm Cotton Soft on the environment too.
Massive menswear sale on now. Alex Campbell Menswear have brought out a top suppliers warehouse and factory shop. Nothing but bargains for you. Hurry in, South Dunedin store only.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Helping New Zealanders to do more. Talk to MTF today.
At Action Engineering, the team make their mark as innovators in engineering because they don't just make things, they provide solutions. Call now on 477 1643 or go online to see the services they provide.
It's on again, the Star Regent 24-hour book sale. Starts noon the 8th of June. Don't miss out.
Why wait for seed to germinate? Why not do it the smart way? For instant results, call Ready Lawn today, or for more information, go to readylawn.co.nz.
Thanks for staying with us. Remains of the shipwrecked Abel Tasman may remain embedded in the beach at Cobden on the west coast after contractors abandoned attempts to remove it. Poor light and safety concerns meant the second attempt had to be stopped.
After 2 hours of digging on Tuesday evening, part of the wreckage of the Abel Tasman was removed. Despite contractors excavating a large hole, the rest of the steel remains in the sand. With the incoming tide and light fading around 5 p.m, contractors gave up. The Grey District Council says they haven't made a decision on whether to have a third attempt. The Abel Tasman came to grief on the Grey Bar in 1936 and has been a stubborn wreck right from the start. 18 months after going aground, its hull was still largely intact, despite constant buffeting from the waves. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
Yesterday, Queenstown was hit by a hailstorm, heralding more winter weather to come. Met Service says a lot of southerly systems are heading towards the country, bringing with them chilly blasts and possible snow.
Queenstown getting hammered with rain and hail as chilly fronts sweep in the resort. Met Service meteorologist Thomas Adams says winter is definitely on its way.
But what we're seeing now is a real shift to the Southern Ocean firing up and things coming up from the south. There's an index called the SAM index that we look at very carefully here about where the belt of westerlies is over New Zealand. That's firmly going into negative phase, which means a lot of southerly systems coming up, a lot of cold fronts, a lot of cold blasts.
He says it's going to get colder over the next couple of weeks.
This weekend, Saturday, Sunday into Monday, a really good cold blast. That's got much better chance of bringing snow to the Crown Range Road, and especially the ski fields. But that's just one of the whole succession of these cold blasts we've got over the next couple of weeks. All fast-moving systems, low-pressure centres staying well to the south of New Zealand, carried across a rapid westerly flow, and we just get these bursts of colder air coming up from the south, bringing periods of rain and snow to relatively low levels, then clearing out maybe for a brief ridge for a day or so. That's your chance for Bluebird Ski Day before the next front comes through.
The message is, get warm. Ben Amso, The South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on The South Today. Finance Minister Grant Robertson delivered his first budget to the nation in Parliament this afternoon, announcing major healthcare and housing funding. The Invercargill City Council decided to grant Stadium Southland $300,000 at a meeting on this week. And Dunedin City Council voted yesterday to increase residential rates by almost 8% after a series of last-minute funding boosts approved by the council. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Craig Page. What have you got for us tomorrow?
As you can imagine, plenty of budget coverage. We dedicate 2 full pages to it. We've got some expert analysis from our own business editor, Dean McKenzie, but also from political commentators, Colin James and Bryce Edwards. It's been labelled the foundation of the future budget, real focus on building a better future for our children. Lots of focus on, as you mentioned previously, health, education and child poverty, those sorts of things. Lots of capital investment in health, which is good news for the Southern District Health Board. And 1,500 more teachers they're looking to fund as well, so that's got to be good for the various schools, who a lot of them struggling to find some teachers at the moment. So yes, plenty there for everyone, I think, so well worth a read tomorrow. We've got a lovely story about the Mosgiel Pool. The DCC this week confirmed another $4 million to the project, giving it 10.4 and really giving it the green light. That's sort of inspired a few businesses to now put their hand into their pocket. We've talked to a Dunedin business who has decided to give $100,000 to the pool. It just feels that it's right thing to do, encouraging other businesses to do the same.
Wonderful. So that was lovely. We'll catch all that in tomorrow's paper. Thank you, Craig. And now it's time for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by MoleMap.
Starting with today's southern view taken of central Dunedin. Looking at the situation, another day of 2 of west to southwesterly winds before even colder air and more southwesterly winds arrive early next week. To the southern outlook, Balclutha, Catlins, Gore and Lumsden can expect fresh winds, some cloud and 9 degrees. To the central outlook, Alexandra has wind with some cloud and 11, Queenstown the same with 9, Wanaka the same with 10 and Te Anau the same with a high of 9. To the northern outlook, Oamaru and Timaru can expect moderate winds, high cloud and a high of 12. For Oamaru and Twizel, fresh winds, some cloud and a high of 10. In Dunedin, it's fine tonight with some cloud, fine tomorrow with sunny periods and some cloud, moderate cool southwesterlies, early morning showers clearing on Saturday with sunny periods increasing and cold southwesterly winds dying out. And in Invercargill tonight, cloudy with showers clearing, fine on Friday with sunny periods and some cloud, fresh cool westerly winds, and it's cloudy with showers on Saturday and fresh to strong cold southwesterlies. That's our news for this Thursday. For the latest news from the southern region, you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube and at channel39.co.nz. I hope you have a great evening. Take care. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.